Welcome into Lock It In with Cam Rogers, my guy, Clay Harbor, on the show. Third time. How we doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's always good talking ball with you, Cam the man. And, we got a big game coming up.
Yep.
Chiefs, Eagles, my former team versus my former head coach. So I feel like I got a little bit of an invested interest here. So I'm excited to see. I don't know who to root for. It's a little, I'm torn a little bit.
You are, and you're going on NBC Sports Philly later, so that might turn you to the Eagles after that interview. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Where do you look at the biggest mismatch in this game, whether it's on the offensive side for the Chiefs, defensive side for the Chiefs, and vice versa?
I think there's two mismatches, I think, that are pretty substantial. The first one is Hassan Reddick versus Andrew Wiley. Andrew Wiley is not great. He's given up 9 sacks this year. Hassan Reddick has 16.5 sacks. That's disaster. That spells disaster for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs. The second mismatch is these rookie cornerbacks, Trent McDuffie, these guys against Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Okay, those guys can't guard them. They're going to have safety help over the top. So now your safety's helping over the top with the receivers. That leaves Dallas Goedert one-on-one with some linebackers. That's another mismatch because the Chiefs don't have linebackers that I think can guard Goedert.
And the Chiefs have struggled against slot receivers, which a tight end could qualify as in theory. So we'll see what happens there. Travis Kelce on the other side. I mean, you played tight end. Is he one of the greats of all time? Is he up there with Gronk? Where do you rank Kelce?
Yeah, he's up there with Gronk. I think he's right now. He's right behind Gronk, but I think he has a chance to overtake Gronk.
Yeah.
If they win this game and he gets another ring and he has a big game, I think, you can start talking. Then he's above Gronk. He already has better numbers, better receiving numbers. I think he's a better receiving tight end than Gronk, but the thing that Gronk could do that sets him apart as a tight end is Gronk could block. If he wasn't a tight end, Gronk could play offensive tackle. Gronk could play in the NFL as an offensive tackle.
Underrated blocker.
He was that good as a blocker. Playing on the team with him I just had a cup of coffee half a year with New England, but watching him do what he did in the blocking game was truly special. He was a guy, and I tried to take some things from his game. He was just so good with his hands, so good with his fundamentals, so good with his technique, and that's why Gronk is right now the greatest, just all-around tight end.
The way I see this game, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I see complete team versus a player. Eagles versus Patrick Mahomes, because I think the Chiefs have some glaring issues. You talked about the secondary. I think the linebacking core has issues, some parts of the offensive line, and no Tyreek Hill. Then you have a really good Eagles team that is just so complete up and down the board. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's the best player versus the best team. I mean, look at this Eagles team. Look at the trenches. Best offensive line in the league.
So
Lane
good.
Johnson, Jason Kelce, these are two of the best in the league, two of the best ever. I think both these guys are first ballot Hall of Famers. Go to the right side. Jordan Mailata is a solid tackle. Landon Dickerson, he can play. I think there's no weak links on the line. And the defensive line, the third most sacks in NFL history. This is pretty incredible. Hassan Reddick, obviously highly touted, but one of the most underrated players on this defense is Josh Sweat.
Yep.
This guy can bring it too. 11 sacks. Brandon Graham comes in, 11 sacks. Fletcher Cox, 7 sacks, is playing great ball. Then Javon Hargrave versus Joe Thuney. That's an unbelievable matchup right there. That's as good as it gets. One of the best guards versus one of the best 3 techniques in the entire league. So there's just 2 good rosters, but the Eagles literally don't have any weak spots. Even their linebackers, T.J. Edwards, Kaiser White. Historically, the Eagles were not known for linebackers, but these 2 linebackers are 2 of the best in the league.
I am so excited to watch Chris Jones, who can be just an absolute game breaker, versus perhaps one of the greatest centers of all time in Jason Kelce. That one-on-one battle in the trenches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's going to be fun, man. Kelsey's going to have his hands full, but I think Kelsey's going to be able to do it. He's just so good at leveraging, so good at getting off the snap, and he's just such a veteran. He's played in all these roles before, and he knows what he's doing, and he's going to have some help double team wise. And I think Kelsey's gonna get the better, of Chris Jones, which is tough to say. I know Chris Jones could possibly be a defensive MVP, but Jason Kelce is just that good. I played with Kelce. Kelce came in my second year. And a funny story about Travis Kelce. When I met Travis Kelce, I'm hanging out with Jason. Me and Jason used to go out together. We're young guys. We'd go out in the city, have beers, do all that good stuff. I remember Jason's like, yeah, my brother's coming in town. I'm like, oh, nice. Like, yeah, he plays football for Cincinnati. I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, he wants to go to the league. I'm like, oh, really? Is he good? He's like, yeah, he's pretty good. I'm like, oh, what's his numbers? He's like, yeah, he has like 400-something yards. I'm like, oh, this guy ain't gonna. I'm like, yeah, this guy probably won't make it. I remember meeting him. He's like, yeah, man, I want to play in the league. I want to be a tight end in the league. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, good luck. It's hard. Little do I know, that's literally Travis Kelce, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, was the guy that obviously hanging out with his brother Jason that I'm meeting when he's in college turns out to be Travis Kelce, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. And me, I'm thinking, okay, this guy wants to play in the NFL like his brother. What are the odds that happens?
Right.
And he turns out to be one of the best ever.
Truly a great brotherly combo. By the way, talk about the parents for Jason and Travis in this football game. What do you do if you're a parent?
What's funny is me and my brother, my brother Corey is the reason I went to Missouri State University. He got a scholarship to Missouri State University to play linebacker / defensive end. So me and Corey would play against each other every single practice. And we'd go against each other. We'd have some battles. I'd become the All-American. Corey's a solid player, all-conference. Yep. I'd block everybody in the league, and obviously I'm dominating that level of competition. For some reason, I could not block my brother. It was that older sibling thing. I couldn't block him.
It's in your head.
The guy was in my head. He knew what I was doing before I did.
Free.
Yeah, the guy is unbelievable. But the parents, man, I mean, they're just going to have to root for the offense. They just want a high-scoring game.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Root for the offense.
Good execution on offense.
100 to 101.
Are you predicting this game? And if so, who wins?
I'm going with an Eagles victory. Like I said, the trenches are too good. We got too many weapons here. Jalen Hurts and the zone read scheme is just unbelievable. This guy against the Giants, I think ESPN stats and info, this guy had like 221 yards. The Eagles had off of the zone read scheme, the most in NFL playoff history. I think the zone read, Jalen Hurts, and these trenches are the reasons the Eagles are going to be able to beat the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen in the game. I know he's got a little bit to climb over Tom Brady. Yeah. But in my opinion, he will eventually, but I think the Eagles win this one.
Lock it in, folks. Clay Harbor joining the show. Appreciate the time, my brother.
That was my pleasure, Cam.
Cheers.
Thanks.